Exercise programs for all populations, athletes, able-bodied individuals, and individuals who suffer from disease or joint pain, need to be flexible. By this, I mean they need to be based on how the individual feels both mentally and physically immediately prior to the session, and potentially reassessed immediately following the warm-up. This follows a little-known but critical and simple concept to understand called readiness to train. Many coaches and trainers design programs for their athletes or clients where the volume, intensity, density, and exercise selection is predetermined, and they stick to this strict script without regard to how the individual feels. The same goes for many exercisers who also pre-plan what they're going to do for their upcoming session and never think about adjusting based on how they feel. Prior to every session, without fail and ongoing, the coach, trainer, or exerciser should ask the following questions, some of which may or may not be applicable depending on the conditions the person may or may not have. How do you feel? How did your body respond to the last session? When and what did you last eat? Are you hydrated? Have you taken your medications? Are you on any new medications? Did you take your blood sugar? Is a blood pressure check needed? Is there anything else you'd like me to know prior to the workout? There have been several times over the past 15 years of my career where a client experienced a flare-up during the session in the form of joint pain or in the form of feeling dizzy, lightheaded, nauseous, or something other than the norm. In every case, it was my fault, and the flare-up probably wouldn't have occurred had I just asked these questions and then adjusted the session accordingly, or terminated the session if that was the appropriate response. An example would be that the client or exerciser is scheduled to perform a heavy or hard session, such as a heavy leg day scheduled in the morning, but they didn't sleep well, feel like they might be catching a cold, are under a lot of personal stress, and overslept, which caused them to miss breakfast. This is an obvious situation where an adjustment needs to be made. It would always be smart to have a snack on hand for situations where the person isn't fueled up. And if they aren't feeling optimal mentally or physically going into a session, you can always adjust by doing less sets or overall volume, reducing the intensity, or choosing exercises that aren't as taxing, such as a leg press replacing the squat exercise. But the bottom line is, always ask these questions to your athlete, client, or yourself prior to every workout, and always adjust accordingly whenever necessary. And with special populations, people who are going into the session already suffering from chronic disease or joint pain, it's critical to never fail with this concept. Determine readiness to train and adjust accordingly. It's the secret to safe, efficient program design.